It's a blessing to welcome on one of the stars of Wake Forest. This led the team this past year in scoring, now returning for what will be his potential final year of college basketball. Daivien Williamson, how you doing, man?
I'm good, my man. How you?
Can't complain, man. Well, let's kind of get right into this because this has been a hectic career so far for yourself, but you kind of got settled now. You came back home to Wake Forest, and it was obviously an incredible first season for you out here. Kind of take us through this, like how you feel about the season overall.
Oh yeah, I mean it was pretty rough, of course. You know what I'm saying, dealing with COVID. I mean, many people know we missed 6 weeks of the year, no practice, no games, no anything. So I mean it was tough to recover from that. But I know our record doesn't really indicate this, but I think we finished the season up on a promising note. So I mean, I think we just got to carry that momentum in the next season. Just that we had a really productive off season, really productive spring. So I'm just ready to get back out there next season.
You're up a huge point there because I'm personally a big fan of what Coach Forbes is doing out there. And maybe the general media public might look at it and say, well, you guys lost a lot of the team. Obviously, a lot of transfers coming in. It was only a 6-win season. But as you mentioned, this was the first year with a new coach. You guys had the whole COVID pandemic, so it wasn't like an easy transition for coach to come over. But
Right.
you guys kept the core though. Obviously, Carter's a very special point guard coming out. You had an incredible season. You guys brought Isaiah back, and you guys surround yourself with a lot of big incoming freshmen, also guys transferring in. But kind of take us through this, like next year, like what's this team looking like? Like how excited you get back on that court and play with this new group?
Yeah, I'm really excited to get back with this new group. Like you said out. I mean, Carter, you know what he can do. He's a special player, like you said. Isaiah Mucius, All ACC type player next year. We got some real good freshmen coming in, like you said, like Lucas Taylor, Robin McCray, Cameron Hildreth. I'm excited to play with a lot of these guys. We got the big Dallas Walton from Colorado, Jake LaRavia. You know what I'm saying? My guy Damari transferred in from ETSU. He redshirted on that 30-4 season. So I mean, a lot of it's a really good group of guys. Like not only are they good basketball players, they're good people as well. So I'm
Mhm.
excited to get. I'm excited for next year because I know things is going to be a U-turn for us. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. We're gonna get a lot more into Wake Forest in a little bit, but I want to kind of go through your story a little bit. I want fans, the country, get to know you a little better. So let's head back. As we just mentioned, like you came back home, so you're from North Carolina. What was it like growing up out there?
Oh yeah, it was fun. I attended Winston Salem Prep high school here in North Carolina. 4 years. I won the state championship my senior year. I've been here my whole life, born and raised. So I mean, to come back home. I mean, it was a special feeling, and I'm glad I made the decision to come back home.
Now, in terms of just growing up there, obviously that's an area, especially on the basketball side, that's known for basketball. We see lots of talent has always come out of there the past few years, but just historically as well. So in terms of basketball, what's it been like growing up out there?
It's definitely it's competitive. It's
Mhm.
competitive. It's intense. There's a lot of trash talking because a lot of us. I mean, Winston-Salem's not the biggest city in the world, so I mean, a lot of us know each other. So on the court, we're playing against guys that you know what I'm saying we grew up with. Like I mean, Isaiah Wilkins, who transferred in last year from Virginia Tech. Like I played against him probably about 5 times in high school. So
Mhm.
I mean, those rivalries, like you want to beat up on, you know what I'm saying, the people you know for those bragging rights. So I would definitely say it was very intense and competitive.
You just mentioned one guy, but who were some other teams that you enjoyed going up against, or are you in matchups? Like, was there another guy in the state that, like, when you saw him on your calendar, like, you want to go play one on one against him during high school?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I mean, we played against a lot of really good teams. My sophomore year of high school, we played against Greensboro Day. I mean, they were loaded. You know, they had John Newman, J.P. Mormon, Jordan Perkins, Will Dillard. I mean, that was a loaded team. I was looking forward to that game. My freshman year, my first ever high school game, we played Wrestling Christian Academy. I mean, it was Harry Jazz, number one player in the nation at the time. Brandon Childress, who was also a star at Wake Forest. Jalen Johnson, who I played with this year. Like, so I mean, I was thrown at the fire at a very young age, but it was really no matchup I was looking forward. I was just ready to play every time I stepped out there.
So if you look at all the guys like during your era, like the past 4 years or so, like anyone that you played in high school, who would be like on your North Carolina dream team? Like if you could put together a starting lineup of like the best guys from North Carolina from your like 4 year time in high school, who's on that team?
Ooh, that's tough. That's tough. Okay, okay. You got me at the point
Hmm.
at the two guard. Give me I'll take Kobe White at the two. He played on my team at the Josh Level Crash. He had like 40, he went crazy. I
Hmm.
want Kobe White at the two. At the three, probably John Newman. I like John Newman game a lot. That's my guy. I've known him for a while. Uh, at the 4, that's tough. That's tough for 4 man. A 4 man. Uh, that's a good question. I'll take Harry Giles. Take Harry Giles, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Then the 5 man. No, we're gonna play a little bit of small ball. I want my guy Jalen Johnson from Western. He was a dog in high school, man. So yeah, I'll take that. That'll be my 5 right there. Me, Kobe White, John Newman, Jalen Johnson, and Harry Giles.
So off the bench, you're going to put together like 4 or 5 guys on that rotation. Who's coming off your bench then?
Okay, you coming off my bench. Give me Isaiah Wilkins, who I played with. Played with this year at Wade. He played at Mount Tabor. He was a killer as well. I want Isaiah Wilkins. My guy Justice Goodlow, he played at Johnson C. Smith now. He was an all around point guard. I mean, he didn't score the ball much, but he did everything else well. So every team needs a guy like that. So somebody else, it's a lot of good players around the state, man. It's hard to just name a few of them.
Y'all Jaden Gardner out there, right?
Yeah, I played against him at AAU. He played with Team Loaded. I think I played against him. He was a killer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I put my team too. I'm glad you called. I'm glad you said his name. So yeah, I mean that'll probably be my rotation right there. So
For sure. Let's hop into your high school career because you take the route of staying at one school for all 4 years and you really create yourself a great legacy out there. We know that Winston Salem's obviously created a great 10-year run. Coach Gold's decided to move on, different opportunity now, but like you're a part of that run where you guys were one of, if not the most dominant team in that entire era. So what was it like just kind of being a part of that? And why did you originally choose Winston Salem to be your high school?
that's a really good question. It was special to be a part of something like that. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I only won one state championship, but I went to 3. I had 3 appearances, so I mean that was special to just what I'm saying, gain that experience. I think that experience helped prepare me for my success in college. So being a part of that was definitely special. I mean, like coming out of middle school, like everyone around the city wanted to go to prep because they knew they would have a chance to play for a state championship. They knew they would have a chance to go to college for free. You know what I'm saying? And that's what every high school kid wants. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was special to just be a part of something like that. And in the end, win the state championship my senior year.
I think the big thing too is like you said, you get a lot of wins over your career. You don't ever have double-digit losses. The most you ever reach is 8 at a time. You get as low as only 3 or 4 losses your upperclassmen years. But what was that winning mentality that got established in you? Because when you're winning at that rate, it's something that clicks. Like you have to have a certain mentality to be able to go out there and win that many games each night you go out there. So what is that? Like, kind of walk us through your winning mentality.
Yeah, it started. I think it starts in the off season and in practice. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
practice is crazy for us. Not just crazy in the sense that like it was very competitive. I mean, we worked hard every single day. So I think that also prepared me for college was what I'm saying, uh, making practice a priority to come in every day and what I'm saying, work as hard as I can. So I think that's where it started. It started during the off season.
Now, walk us through your relationship with Coach Gold because having that guy that's in your life mentoring you as a coach is critical for any basketball player, any athlete whatsoever. So, how big was he in your development as a basketball player, but also off the court during your time there?
Yeah, he was definitely a big part of my life.
Mhm.
He definitely was big with my recruiting. I mean, Coach Good has been doing this a lot longer than I have, so
Mhm.
he definitely helped me in my recruiting, helped me make the right decisions and what to say, what not to say in these coaches, and setting up business and things of that nature. So it was real good having him in my ear, having him in my corner, knowing that I got someone who's like, what I'm saying, been through the ropes. So
Mhm.
that was very good. He definitely helped me grow into the basketball player and the man I am today.
So, if I would have told you heading into your freshman season that you're going to go accomplish everything you do during your career out there in high school, you become a state champion, you get conference player of the year 2 times, like you get all these awards, all these points you score, like that whole list, then you're able to go Division 1 and eventually come home and play for your hometown team at Wake Forest. Like, would you ever believe that? Like, was that something that you could have seen in your future at that point in time?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. Not. I mean, that's a really good question, but yeah, absolutely not. I mean, I always had dreams of being a Division I basketball player, going to school for free, but coming to the ACC was nothing that I never seen coming, honestly. I
Mhm.
mean, as you know, I was never ranked in high school. I didn't have no stars by my name, but I was a really good player, though. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that. I believed in myself.
Mhm.
And somebody would tell me I'd be playing at Wake Forest in my hometown about 3-4 years ago. I would look at them like they were crazy, but I'm here now, and that's all that matters.
So just becoming a Division I player, like when did that start becoming something you saw in yourself? Was that something that you thought heading to freshman year you could play Division I level? Was that later on in your high school career? Like when did you feel like you just could play at the next level?
I say I felt like it. Well, I got my first scholarship offer early.
Hmm.
I got my first scholarship offer my sophomore year. I remember the exact day. It was one of the best days of my life. It was May 31st, 2016. My sophomore year of high school. It was one of the best days of my life. Georgia Southern was my first offer. So I mean, like when I got my first offer, that's when it really clicked in. Like wow, like I can really be a Division I basketball player. And the
Hmm.
momentum started rolling from there. I started getting offers from there, and that's when I was like, wow, this is a dream come true.
That first offer is like you said, everyone kind of remembers that day because it's really the day as a kid you dream of. Like it doesn't matter where it's at. Some guys might be a high major for the first, low major, mid major. Like it's an offer, your school is being paid for. So just take us to the
Right.
day, like when you found out that you were getting that Division I offer, you could be playing basketball for 4 more years now. What was your initial reaction and who'd you tell first?
Yeah, actually, I was on an unofficial visit to Georgia Southern. We had played in the tournament, the Nike Memorial Day Classic. I was playing with Team Winston at the time. We actually won the tournament, and since we were in Georgia, you know what I'm saying, we had hit up the coaches like, you know what I'm saying, come on a quick official visit, tour the campus, things like that. So after we won that tournament, we got a hotel for the night. We went, toured the campus, and then at the end, we had like a meeting with the whole coaching staff. He offered me, and like the whole way back from Statesboro, Georgia, back to Winston Salem, about a 5 hour drive. Like I was just telling my mom, like, Mom, I can't believe this. Like I was just telling my mom the whole route, like it's happening. Like this is a dream come true. I really couldn't believe it. That first offer was always special. I mean, I posted it immediately. Like I posted it on Twitter before I even left the campus. So
I think for a lot of guys too, like being in an area where you're low with so much talent in that state, like we talked about, a lot of people want to say it's a positive, and it is in terms of competition and competing, but also getting that spotlight. Like you have to be an elite of the elite. You have to be a Harry Giles type guy to really get a lot of attention. So how would you handle that though? Like you're a guy, you're still getting Division I offers, but you're producing at a high enough level where I can imagine you're probably like, why am I not getting the bigger schools? Why am I not getting maybe a higher school that you might prefer? How would you handle that throughout your career?
yeah, I never really like paid attention to that. I just always focus on just being the best version of myself, and I feel like everything's gonna fall into place. So that's what I try to focus on. I mean, what's meant for me is what's going to happen in my life, and I believe that. And I mean, even though I didn't go high major from high school, straight out of high school, like I believed I could, I was in a very good situation at East Tennessee State. I mean, we went 30-4 my sophomore year. We beat a very good LSU team on the road. Like so, I mean, look, I'm high major now, and I'm producing at a high level. So I think that's all that matters. But yeah, it was. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, it was a little tough sometimes because I felt like because some of those guys that were getting like these big time offers and had these stars, like I personally played well against, like really well against. So, but I just stayed grounded and I just believed in myself and I just knew like what's meant for my life was going to happen at the end of the day.
I know you've also had a lot of position changes. Like you're a guy that can kind of be the so-called combo guard where you can run both the shooting guard and point guard at a high level. But kind of walk us through both positions. Like how have you learned to really grow into the point guard mold now, more in college, and also kind of walk us through the shooting guard playing off ball a little bit.
Yeah, I knew. So high school, I spent a lot of time playing the shooting guard because I had Justice Goodlow in the backcourt with me. He's the starting point guard at John C. Smith University. So I played a lot of shooting guard, but I knew like, and you when I played Team Winston, I played a lot more point guard because I knew like once I got to the next level, once I got to college at the size that I am, I knew eventually that I would have to become a point guard. So I spent a lot of time like learning things such as ball screen reads and playing off the pick and roll and things like that, and getting my teammates involved and being a playmaker. So there's a lot of the things I learned in the shooting guard role. Like I think I shoot the ball at a pretty good level. So the shooting guard role was kind of natural to me, considering I can shoot the ball and just my scores mentality. So, but I feel like I can play both positions at a pretty high level. I feel like I can do both.
Is there one position that you prefer? Do you like being a guy that's more the go-to scorer at the shooting guard position? Do you like bringing the ball up more, being the point guard? Like, which one do you prefer the most?
Honestly, I prefer the one, but you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna do whatever my coach asks me to do. But I prefer playing point because I know if I'm blessed enough to play at the next level, I'm going to be a one.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, let's head into that high school career a little bit more. Like you said, you get to go to state championship every year. You finally get that ring though your senior year. But let's walk through that freshman year first of all. You guys go out there 20-8. You're a pretty solid year, averaging double digits. Really start establishing yourself out there. What was that freshman year like?
It was really good. It was a good learning experience. Uh, State championship, we played East Carteret. It was a team that was senior led, and you can tell they just wanted it more than we did, and that was a good experience for me because I knew what I had to do to get a state championship win. You know what I'm saying? I knew how hard I had to play. So actually losing that game was tough in the short term, but in the long term, I knew what I had to do to hang a banner and get a ring. So
Mhm.
that loss was a learning experience for me, and it really helped me grow as a player during my high school years. But my freshman year was great, man. Like you said, we was 24-8, I think 28, something like that. I don't know, but it was a good year. I got all conference that year, so I was just determined. I just wanted more. I wanted more.
You guys had three really big time guys that all kind of come together. Obviously, Zaire was the oldest of you two, and then you come in, you're kind of the middle guy, and then also you guys add in SchuZ a little bit there on the end too. Like, how did you three grow that bond? Like, you guys kind of became that trio of scoring when you guys won the state championship, just you and SchuZ. But like, how did you guys kind of grow that chemistry together?
Yes. We were all three big time scorers. Zaire was a hell of a player. Chaz is too. He's at John C. Smith as well, and he can really shoot the ball. But
Mhm.
like you gotta kind of like you gotta like coexist with each other and play to each other's strengths at the end of the day. Like I know Chaz is a really good shooter off the dribble.
Mhm.
I mean off the catch, he's a great catch and shoot guy. Zaire can play down low. He can also step out and shoot it every once in a while. So I feel like the main thing we're working with that is just being able to coexist with each other and at the end of the day playing to each other's strengths.
The sophomore year, then you go out there, you guys go 22-8. You go and kind of up a lot of your numbers for the most part. What was that sophomore year like for you?
Another good learning experience. We played Warrior Academy State Championship game that year. You know they had Jay Huff, the big guy at Virginia. And, I mean they killed us. Jay Huff had a triple double against us, and that was another learning experience for me because I knew once again what I had to work on and where the areas I had to grow at to potentially win a state championship the next year. So it was another good year. I made all conference again my sophomore year. Once again, I wanted more for the next year.
So what led to that big jump? Because then all of a sudden you go out there, start averaging 16 points per game, and you really start becoming a dominant scorer then your junior year. So what led to that jump?
I put in a lot of work. I was determined. I was really determined that off season. Like the off season for my sophomore to junior year and the off season for my junior and senior year, it was big for me because I definitely wanted to take my game to another level. And I feel like that's what I did. And that's, you know what I'm saying? I averaged 16. I was conference player of the year that year because
Mhm.
it was a lot of other really good players in the conference. So that's what I was really focused on, was just really taking my game to the next level. I put in a lot of work that off season, and in the end, it paid off.
Now you bring a lot of stuff to the court each time you step on there, but we all know the best thing of you is obviously scoring. You can get buckets pretty much at will. So how did you start developing that over time? Like, was that something you felt you were just kind of born with? Did it kind of evolve over your high school career? Like, when did you start feeling that you could be that dominant scorer?
Scoring, that's what I like to do. I've been like that my whole life, honestly. I mean, probably my eighth grade year at Raleigh Middle School, I was like 37 points a game. Like, I don't know, it was crazy. I think scoring, that's just something I was born to do. I just got the mentality to score. That's what I want to do at the end of the day is score.
So then you head in that senior year, and Zaire obviously moves on, and this really is your opportunity to step up and you bolster your numbers incredibly that season. 23 points per game that season, then 5 rebounds, 3 assists. You also get almost 3 steals per game, and you get that ring finally. So you got to walk us that state championship run. Like that's obviously the dream. You fell short 3 years past. Now you get that ring, so you got to take us through that journey a little bit.
Yeah, it was crazy. We started the year off. at the Washington Tournament of Champions, the tournament in Peoria, Illinois.
Mhm.
Big time tournament. We played big time competition. We played Chicago Uplift. That's the school Marquise Jacobs went to. He was a Kansas commit at the time. We went 2-1 up there. Came back. We lost to Piedmont Classical 2-2, and then we lost another game. I forgot who. We actually went 2-2 at Peoria.
Mhm.
Then we came back. We lost to Piedmont Classical. We 3-3 on the year. Then we ended up running off 24 straight wins in the season. I mean, it was special, man. Going 27-3, it was special. Like it was some games that I ain't gonna lie, I thought we weren't gonna win. But we pulled it out. So it was definitely special. We really came together as a group. We had a team meeting after
Mhm.
we lost that game to Piedmont Classical, and like we really just came together as a team, as brothers, and like, man, it doesn't matter what they say right now. We're going to get this thing done, and
Mhm.
that's what we did.
So you now look back at all the things you achieved, all the games you played throughout your high school. What was your favorite memory? What was your favorite game, your favorite memory throughout your basketball career in high school?
Well, of course, we won the state championship, but behind that,
Mhm.
uh, so you remember I told you there was a lot of games I thought we was gonna lose. So we played at Mount Airy, and our backs was against the wall, man. We basically lost that game, but I had 39 points that game, and like a lot of them was in the clutch, and we really needed that game. And that was one of the games that I was like, nah, I don't know how we gonna win this game, but I mean, we pulled it out, and it like that was a very fun game. Like that was a fun game to be a part of. I was on fire that game, and I went like 15 for 16 from the free throw line, something crazy like that. Like if I would have made that free throw, I would have had 40. So, but yeah, that was one game that I was really like, I don't know how we're gonna pull this off. And those wins are the biggest team building wins. So that was a very good win for us.
So let's go through that recruiting process then, because you ultimately end up at ETSU with Coach Forbes, who you obviously come out with, and Wake Forest we'll talk about later on. But what was it about Coach Forbes? Like, how did he win you over? Because you had offers from Appalachian State, Coastal Carolina, Drexler, the list goes on, the whole lot of schools. Why was that the school you chose, and how did Coach Forbes win you over?
Yeah. Coach Forbes, actually they came a little late in the process. It's crazy how everything went down.
Mhm.
So I was getting recruited by Charleston Southern, and BJ Mackey was an assistant there. And so once he got the ETSU job, I just sent him a text and congratulated him, like, congrats, Coach Mackey. It's big time. And he was like, is it too late to start recruiting? I was like, nah, I mean, I'm wide open. So ETSU came in the picture, and I talked to Forbes. Me and Forbes talked on the back steps at Winston Salem Prepatory Academy for about, he talked to me and my mom for literally about an hour and a half. And
Mhm.
at the time coming out of high school, ETSU had about 8 seniors on their roster at the time. They needed to fill the spots at the guard spot. So I knew it was opportunity. I knew it was opportunity for me at ETSU. So that was the main thing. And just watching them play, like the freedom he gave his guys on offense, allowing me to score the ball at will, is like a lot of that has to do with Coach Forbes' system and him giving me the freedom to go out there and play ball at the end of the day. So it was hard to go against that.
And something about Coach Forbes that just has that energy. I haven't got to talk to him much yet, but I do know from listening to a lot of guys on the team that talk to him, just other coaches, like he's just got a special energy about him, just a special feeling. Like, it's kind of hard to like exactly describe, but describe that a little bit as much best you can. Like, what's it like, just his personality, kind of his character? Like, what's it just like being around Coach Forbes?
Yeah, he's fiery and passionate. Like one thing, like when recruits ask about Forbes, I tell them all the time, like Coach Forbes he's gonna demand the best out of you every day, and it's gonna seem hard. It's gonna seem like he's like tripping or whatever the case may be, but at the end of the day, it's gonna pay off because it's only gonna help you grow as a player. So that's what I learned going with him because he's passionate. Like when he recruits you, he tells you he's gonna bring it every day, and he hope he does too. And he wasn't lying. He brings it every day to practice. And
Mhm.
so me being the leader and the starting point guard, I just try to match his energy every day, and I'm getting better at that.
Now, you obviously only have a max of 2 years left at Wake Forest, but Coach Forbes, as fans expect him, possibly be there for a very, very, very long time and really build up this program to be something special out there. But what's it going to take? Like, is he the guy that's meant for that? And what will Coach Forbes be able to accomplish throughout his time at Wake Forest now?
Oh yeah, he's gonna. A lot of the success he had at ETSU, he's gonna have that success at Wake. Like even when I'm gone, like
Mhm.
he's a winner. He know what he's doing. Like I mean, the situation is not the same because like I know the records aren't very indicative of what's going on, but I mean, from ETSU my freshman year to my sophomore year, I mean, we were 24-10 my freshman year. A lot of guys left. We brought in some new guys. We 30-4 my sophomore year. You know what I'm saying? Like he's gonna bring in the right guys. He's gonna at the end of the day he's just gonna win. It's just as simple as that. And I know he's gonna do that like far even after I leave Wake Forest.
Now you got to give us your favorite Steve Forbes memory. Like, what's that memory that comes to mind throughout your time? Because you've now spent 3 years with him. So, what's the first memory that comes to mind when you think about him?
That's a good question. I don't know, man. I got a lot. He say a lot of things I can't really say in this interview right now, but he got a lot, man. So after we lost to Furman my freshman year, like Furman killed us my freshman year at Furman. They beat us by like 30, some crazy stuff like that. He came, he hit the board and put a hole in the board, and his hand got stuck, and that was kind of funny. It was a lot going on there.
So, when that goes on, you obviously are probably down because you guys are down by that much. You just lost. But did you guys ever have the Jersey talk laugh, or how did you guys kind of react to that when you saw that happen?
Yeah, we know he's just passionate about winning, and since we didn't win, like that's why he's acting like that. So you kind of just got to respect it at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do. 'Cause I know like a lot of his frustration just comes from us not winning. He wants to see us win just as bad as he wants to win. So I mean, I respect that about him.
Did you guys ever discuss that after the fact? Like, have you ever talked to Coach Forbes about that since that's occurred? Or did anyone in that locker room ever talk about that after the fact?
Yeah. I mean, we laugh about it now. It's kind of funny now. That was 2 years ago, but at the time it wasn't that funny.
For sure. Well, let's go into that freshman year because you established yourself a key piece of this roster. You average nearly 10 points per game, 2 assists, 2.5 rebounds, also get about a steal per game. But kind of walk us through that freshman year. Like, how are you able to go out there and get that role pretty early on?
Yeah, it was tough at first. I mean, I really didn't play the first 2 games of the year. I didn't play at all the first game. Uh, we played like a D2 the second game, like a West or something like that. And I played pretty well, and I just continued to try to like continue to grow through the growing pains as a freshman. I mean, I was a freshman. I was still learning. I was still adapting to the college game because at the end of the day, it is a different game. Like I played at a fast pace at high school, but college is it's a totally different ball game. So I was still adjusting to it, and finally, once I got adjusted, I was good to go. And that's when I took off and made all freshman team. So it all worked out for me.
At what point during your freshman year would you say you started getting comfortable and settling down? Like, when did you start feeling that, okay, I'm kind of getting the hang of this now? Like, I feel like I'm confident now. I'm back to myself. Like, at what point in the season was that?
Well, it was the Illinois game.
Hmm.
It was definitely the Illinois game. My freshman year, I had like 20 against them. I started point guard, point hand. Isaiah Tisdale, he got ejected. So I played and I scored. I had like 19 or 20 against them. I only missed one shot. I was like 8 for 9 from the field.
Hmm.
And I was starting from that point on. And that's when I realized, like, yeah, I guess I can play with the big boys.
You had quite a few highlight games. Obviously, that one just mentioned. You had one against Wilford, 4 threes in that game, 17 points to total. You had two 20-point games against VMI that year. Like you had a lot of big time games, also 24-point outing against Citadel. How big were those games? Like for a freshman, when you go out there and you're able to produce at a high level like that, how big is that for your confidence?
Oh, it was crazy. It's just because when you start getting them big games like that, you try to keep stacking them on top of each other. You try to become consistent as possible. So like those big games, you try to use the momentum from the previous big games in order to put together some more big games. So that's what I was trying to do. So those big games were definitely confidence boosters for me, like big time. Like when you have games like that, you just feel like you're like, yeah, like I'm here, like I can really do this. So those were they were huge for my confidence.
You did have one special player that ended up moving on to Butler a little bit later, and that's Bo. How big was he in your development? Like, how did he help you? Like, what was your relationship like? And just kind of discuss playing with him for that year.
Yeah, Bo was really my freshman year. He was really like one of the closest guys I was with in the team because
Mhm.
like you know what I'm saying. He was a sophomore that year. he was kind of like in my shoes the year before, being a freshman. He didn't really play much in the beginning, so he was just in my ear, like, you know what I'm saying, keep going, your time's coming and things like that, and it really did. So I mean, he was really good for me, on and off the court, like learning college in general. So I mean, he was very helpful for me.
You then come away, as you mentioned, to SoCon all freshman team. Obviously, a high accolade that anyone would want to win. You always want to get some kind of award for the season. So when you found out about that, what was your reaction? How did you find out that you won that award?
I found out through Twitter. On Twitter, ETSU basketball page tagged me and was like, "Congrats, Daivien Williamson, on all SoCon, all freshman team honors." So I was excited. I mean, I was excited. I was hoping to be freshman of the year that year, but sometimes it just don't roll that way. But I was definitely excited to make the all freshman team in a very good league. The SoCon's loaded. The SoCon's loaded every year. The SoCon was loaded when I was in it. The SoCon was loaded last year. Like, so it was definitely big time accolade that I was proud of.
Then that sophomore year, you have a little bit of a jump, not like a drastic one, but overall, your team though takes a huge jump. 30-4 record as a team. You end up averaging double digits and pretty much scored double digits almost all season long. But there's a couple different things that really went down throughout the course of the year that led to that success. So kind of just that year, like what led to you guys becoming a team that could win 30 games?
We was stacked at every position. I talk about practice a lot, but it started it with the battles in practice. Like, you had to bring it every day, or you was gonna be killed. I mean, we had killers at every single possession, the guards position, the 3 and 4, the center spot. Like, you had to bring it every day. And I think that competitiveness that started in practice, it always carried over to the games, and that's what really helped us go 30 and 4. Like, we were just loaded, man. We outran teams. We were deep. We were just stacking. We had good chemistry off the court as well.
So when you have to balance roles, because obviously you're a guy that probably was capable of scoring a lot more points per game that year, but you bought into a role. Like each guy on that team accepted a single role so that you guys could come out with 30 wins. How'd you kind of do that? Because I know a lot of guys might say, well, I want my points, I want to get more recognition and whatnot. How are you guys all able to buy into the team?
Yeah, that was the main thing, was the fact that we accepted our roles, because we knew if we played our roles the way we were supposed to, we would win. So I mean, at the end of the day, win didn't always carry more weight than what you average per game. You know what I'm saying? So I think as a team, we all accepted that. We all played our roles to the best of our abilities. I mean, at the end, we accomplished that goal. The goal we set out to get another year to be SoCon champs, and that's all that matters. Like, that matters a lot more than how many points per game any of us average.
COVID then comes into a factor, and you guys obviously aren't able to go to the tournament like you guys would have. And so you're as an athlete, kind of approached with the decision, like how are you going to take this off season in because you're going to be locked in home in quarantine now for a long extent time period. So you as an athlete, you personally, what were the biggest things you keyed in on during the COVID pandemic off season?
Um, a lot of that time, I was still able to get in the gym during the pandemic, fortunately. So
Mhm.
I spent a lot of that time just working on my craft, working on my game, getting my jump shot right, ball handling, things like that. I was just working on my craft, like I said, and I spent a lot of time with my family. So I had came back home, so I was here with my family, a lot of quarantining and things like that. So um, I mean, it was good. Like, honestly, I mean, it was tough being, like, you know what I'm saying, COVID going around, survivors going around, of course, but it was good to be able to spend time with my family and still be able to get in the gym at the same time.
Now you also are going through another process. You're going through the transfer portal process and you're looking at all the different options. And as we ultimately know, you go to Wake Forest, you follow Coach Forbes out there. But what led to that decision? Like, why'd you put your name in the transfer portal and take us through the life in the transfer portal that year?
Yeah, so, you know what I'm saying, Forbes, I got the Wake Forest job. Um, I was thinking at first, I'm gonna be honest, I was thinking about staying at ETSU, I really was, but I decided just to explore my options, put my name in the transfer portal, just explore my options with the possibility of returning back to ETSU. So put my name in the transfer portal. I got to talk to some big time institutions like San Diego State, Georgetown, BYU, Tulsa. Talked to Georgia Tech a little bit, Louisiana Tech. I mean, it was a lot of really good schools. So I mean, it was good. I feel like I made the right decision for myself, like as a basketball player and as a man off the court, because everyone knows Wake Forest is one of the best institutions in the world. So
And that transfer portal was a little bit different because at that point in time, you had still to go through the whole waiver process and you ultimately get approved because your coach left and whatnot. But like going through that process, you ultimately choose to follow Coach Forbes out there. How did he win you over again? Like, what was it about him that you said, okay, this is once again where I want to follow him out there. I want to go to Wake Forest.
Yeah, like even though I had some really good options, like see, recruiting was weird. You know what I'm saying? Like because of COVID, you can't take any visits, official or unofficial. So talking to these coaches on Zoom was different, and it was a little odd, honestly. So I knew I would be most. I knew I could be myself at Wake Forest because I knew what to expect. Like I knew the coaching staff. I knew everybody. I know everybody on staff, of course. I'm in my hometown, like during the pandemic, so I think it was just the most reasonable and just the best choice for myself. So, and I didn't think twice about it, and I decided to come home to Wake. And also, I mean, I'm playing in the ACC is one of the best conferences in college basketball, easily. So.
So was the factor of being able to come back home, was that a big thing on your list? Was it just like an added thing or like how big was being able to come back home for you?
I mean, that never really was like. I mean, that wasn't really big on my list. I mean, at the end of the day, I was considering San Diego State and BYU. Like that's California and Utah right there.
Yeah.
That was just. I mean, it's just a great addition. Like, I mean, it just felt crazy. Like I was going to practice and then coming home to my mom. Like I haven't did that since high school, of course, because I've never done ETSU. It was just a great addition. I mean, that was nothing I was really looking forward to. Like even out of high school, I never had my mindset on, oh, I got to go somewhere that's close to home. It was just like whatever is best for me, I got to do it. Whether it's at home or whether it's 1,000 miles away, I just got to do what's best for myself.
If you remember back, who was like your second favorite option if there was one? Like if Wake Forest wasn't in play for you, who was like your second favorite school?
Um, Definitely San Diego State.
Hmm.
San Diego State was a very they made a very good pitch to me. I really like what they got going on. I developed a really good relationship with one of their assistants, Coach Acker. I mean, San Diego State would definitely be my option if Wake Forest went into play. They had a very good team, and I liked what they did with Malachi Flynn. Like he was basically in the same situation as me, transferred in. He had a great year. I mean, now he's in the NBA now, so San Diego State was a close two, but I feel like I made the right decision.
Now, this is a much different season for you, not just because it's a higher level, but we have the whole COVID factor still lingering around the entire season now. And you accomplished two full seasons without the pandemic. Now you have to go do 3 tests a week. Now you have to go through all the stuff, wearing a mask, and everything is how to go protocol wise because of the pandemic. How'd you handle that and how'd you adjust to dealing with the COVID season?
It was definitely an adjustment, and it was weird, and it was a lot of uncertainty. Like you didn't know if you was gonna have a season. So
Mhm.
when we finally found out we was gonna have a season, I mean, it was good. It was really good. Like I mean, our first tournament of the year, two teams that we had played against had tested positive for COVID. So it was definitely an adjustment the whole year. Like I mean, even things just as little as I mean, we got to wear masks in the weight room. We had to wear masks when we first started practicing. I know it's something small, but wearing the mask in practice is different. It's different. You definitely got to adjust to that. So I mean, it was a huge adjustment, but I mean, I'm glad we're getting through it. I'm glad COVID numbers are going down around the world, and we can finally, hopefully, soon get our life back to normal.
What would you say is the funniest moment COVID related from the past year with you guys?
Uh, Actually, my funniest moment wasn't even about basketball. Like, so I had one in-person class this past semester, and I remember I was walking campus, and I walked all the way to the building, and I forgot my mask in the parking lot in my car. So I had to walk all the way back to the parking lot just to get my mask. And I actually did that a few times. I've been late to class a few times because I forgot my mask. And I actually do that a lot. I do that a lot.
So which one did you prefer more? Do you like the online classes more? Or do you like it in person?
Uh, that's tough. I mean, online classes, of course, there's a lot more convenient. Like you can just turn on your laptop, go to class. But being at home on your laptop in class, like it's so easy to get distracted. Like it's been so many times I just started getting on my phone and doing something else, and I even forget that I'm in class. You know what I'm saying? So, but I would prefer online classes. I mean, just because it's convenient. It's a lot more convenient. I don't got to get up and go anywhere.
So do you think you might be able to continue doing that then, like long term next year? Like, do you think you still do a lot more online?
Well, Wake Forest has already announced that we're going to be full in person in the fall semester. So, I mean, it'll be good. It's my last year though, but it'll be good.
Absolutely. Well, let's kind of go through the season a little bit. It was a lot of bumps in the road. 6-16 season. You guys had a long COVID break, obviously midway through the year too. But mostly focusing on that part, like how did you guys as a team deal with that? Because everyone knows that athletes are in the best shape of their life. They're in mid-season, so you have to be kind of reaching that peak form, getting that chemistry reached. And then you guys have the whole COVID thing, and you just have to go sit out, not be able to work out consistently. The chemistry starts getting up and down. How did you guys handle the whole long break for you guys this year?
Yeah, man, it was definitely tough. I mean, even like you said, like, because it's honestly bigger than basketball. Like, like that messed up our team chemistry. Like, we weren't able, of course, we weren't able to spend any time with each other. We were all isolated, quarantined, and things like that. So I think that really messed up our team chemistry. And sometimes, I mean, honestly, you can see that on the court sometimes. But like I said, when it was bigger than basketball, like, I mean, it'd be times like I can sit here like during the season and say like, oh man, I haven't seen Zay in 4 weeks. You know what I'm saying? This my teammate. Like, so it was definitely weird, and it was hard, and it took a toll on us. So we got back to practice, and I mean we took things slow at first. Of course, we had to. A lot of guys had COVID. We had to get back in game shape, and we had to get out there and start playing again.
So how hard was that process for you? Like, were you able to stay in decent shape by just staying in your room? Was it tough getting back into game shape midway through the year? Like, how did you personally handle that break?
Well, fortunately, I was one of the guys that didn't get COVID, so I was able to still work out one on one with the strength coach, being socially distanced. Like, he in the weight room on the stairs yelling at me because he can't really be close to me at the time. So, I mean, it was good that I was still able to work out. But I mean, it was tough not, you know what I'm saying, not being with my guys, not being with my teammates.
And it had to be kind of difficult too, like getting that chemistry just from the start. Like a lot of you guys came in from different places. I know Carter comes in mid-season. He early enrolls. Like you guys had a lot of roster fluctuations throughout the course of that season. So just how did you guys get the chemistry, like just without even the break involved? Like just how did you guys get the chemistry to try playing together?
Well, I mean, first, I mean, it started with a group chat, of course, like as every team has, you know what I'm saying? Team group chat, Snapchat group chat, little things like that. But we really just like try to stay in touch with each other, just try to check on each other every single day, make sure we're all good if we needed anything. And I think that's where it really started, just communication as a team and just checking on our brothers to make sure everything's okay.
In terms of this past year, like who are some of the guys that you felt that you really connected with and created a strong bond with?
Well, from the previous season, like my two closest were easily like Isaiah Wilkins. I mean, I've known Isaiah since like middle school. I mean, as you know, he's from Winston too. And then Isaiah Mucius. Like, I think we both try to take on roles as the leader this year, which is good. Like, I think I'm more of a guy that leads by example. He's more of a guy that leads with his voice. So I mean, when we came together doing that, I think it was powerful for the team, and I think we did a good job of like balancing it out. Because sometimes I got to lead with my voice as well, and he got to lead by example more as well too, and things like that. So I think we did a good job balancing that out. Those leadership roles. So I think that's what really helped myself gravitate towards Isaiah.
Like we mentioned too, like this is a much higher level, obviously, playing the ACC. Like that's not an easy thing. You're going up against Duke one night, then you got Virginia Tech, then you have Virginia. Like the list goes on of different elite teams you're playing. When did you feel like you got comfortable though? Like when did you start settling down and realizing, okay, I can actually play at this level now and I can become a go-to scorer, a leader on this team?
Yeah. I mean, I always believed in myself from the jump that I could play in the ACC.
Mhm.
I mean, I had a rough first game against Georgia Tech. I had like 5 turnovers that game, something like that. But I mean, I played well. I remember I played well against Virginia after that. I had like 17 against Duke and like 19 against Louisville. Then I had 27 against UNC. And that's when that's when it started rolling for me. I'm like, yeah, like I said, I can't play with the big boys.
Mm-hmm. And how did it feel good, like you mentioned earlier, like going to UNC, having that big of a game against them, also scoring 17 at Duke. I mean, obviously this wasn't the same Duke team, but still, you're playing Duke and you shot 17 on them. Like, how were those games? Like, walk us through those nights and how special they were for you.
Yeah, it was definitely the Duke game. Duke game was definitely special. I mean, like you said, even though they were the Duke team, they've previously been like they were still a really good team this year, and they were aggressive. They were aggressive defensively, and I mean, I just tried to stay aggressive offensively, and that's what I did. And I had a pretty good game against them and UNC. That was a special night for me, man. I was just in the zone. I was just in the zone. I don't know how to explain it. That was probably the best game of my college career this far. And it was special to have my parents there as well. My mom and my dad was both at that game. So that even though we lost, that was kind of a special night for me.
Now, there is another game we do have to touch up on, and that was against Notre Dame in the ACC tournament. You scored 21 points, but obviously that game was crazy, hectic. Walk us through that whole night in that game.
Yeah, yeah, that was a crazy game. They hit that game winner. Uh, but yeah, it was the ACC tournament, man. Big time environment. We played in Greensboro. My family was there as well. Like it was a big time game. I know as a spectator, I know that was a game that was fun to watch. I mean, I wish we could have pulled it out, but things didn't really go our way that night. But it was definitely a big time game, a game that was fun to be a part of.
As we know, a lot of crazy things happen in March. And so when that finally does happen to you now, you obviously grew up watching the highlights of buzz beers happening during March Madness conference tournaments. When it happened to you, though, like what was going through your mind? Just kind of take us that one play though when they did hit the game winner.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy.
Hmm.
I shot a bad shot. I remember I looked at the shot clock and it didn't really register how much time was on there. And he made a big time shot, man. It was hard. It was hard. But like I said, it is what it is, and I'll be back next year for sure.
Absolutely. Well, let's kind of wrap up kind of discussing this upcoming season now because as you mentioned, a lot of changes happen. You guys added a lot of big time transfers. Like we mentioned, the freshmen coming in. You guys do retain a few different guys coming back for next year. But when you guys do get together, when you guys all get on campus and start playing together, how are you guys gonna get that chemistry?
It's gonna be good. Like a lot of us, like of course, since COVID has died down a little bit, like we can actually like spend a lot more time with each other now. So that'll be different. That'll be really good for our chemistry. So I think we're going to be off to a good start. I mean, we start back workouts here in June, so about a month from now, and I think that's where it's going to start at. That's where our chemistry building is going to start. So I think it's important for us to have a big time summer, like on and off the court, and try to spend a lot of time with each other. Because I mean, these are a lot of guys that like before they committed here, I didn't even know them. Like I mean, like I told you before, Dallas Walton comes from Colorado. Didn't have a clue who he was until he committed here. So I think it'd be big time for us to, build chemistry. And I know that'll carry over into the regular season.
So when this team does finally get together, you guys start clicking and start getting that chemistry built. How special can this team be? Like, what's the expectations of the team? How far can you guys go, both in the ACC in terms of conference play, and also obviously NCAA tournament? That's your guys' goal. Like, what's the expectations for this team?
Oh yeah, definitely. Everyone wants to go to the tournament, but we want to win some games. You know what I'm saying? We expect to turn this thing around. We expect to like bring Wake Forest back to what it used to be like when like Jeff Teague and Alpha Camino and all them was here. They was number one in the nation. Like I'm not saying we're just gonna come here and be number one in the nation, but we expect to turn this thing around and you know what I'm saying, get in the win column a little bit more.
Like I mentioned earlier, I'm personally super high on Carter Whitt long term. I think he's gonna be an incredible point guard for the program. You've got to see him now. Like obviously, it was a little rough for him coming in the middle of a pandemic mid-season, but how special is he, and what's all the things you think he can accomplish throughout his career there?
Yeah, he's very special. He can definitely be easily all ACC type point guard. I'm talking about Bob Cousy Award watch list type point guard. Like I mean, he has all the intangibles. He's very talented. I mean, Carter's only 18 years old. He came and played in the ACC like as an 18-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Like he came in December, so I think he has a chance to really be special in the ACC and really make a lot of noise during his time here.
We know his hair has already become a little bit of a signature line so far, but what's your thoughts on his hair?
He got to cut that, man. He got to do something with it. Put it in the ponytail. Put it in the ponytail or something, man. He got to do something with that.
Absolutely. Well, we do know you do have the option to possibly come back another year after this season. You have 2 years of eligibility open because this patch didn't necessarily count. But is that something you're going to look into? Is that something we could possibly see you come back for 2 years? Do you pretty much just want to be done after 1 year? Like, how do you plan to approach that decision?
That's a really good question. I haven't really thought about it. I have to assess that a little bit more once this season is over with.
Mhm.
I just want to make sure I made the best decision for my future. And like, if I need to stay another year to better my future and my career, that's what I would do it. If I'm in a good position that I can go play pro after this season, that's what I do. So I just assess. I put more thought into that and consider it a little bit deeper after this season's over with.
Absolutely. Well, a couple more things before I let you go. One, which is you have a couple different things in both your Twitter and Instagram bios that are kind of unique. So I want to touch up on one of them immense. Like, what does that mean to you? And why do you have that there?
Yeah, that's a word. That word is a synonym for greatness,
Hmm.
and that's something I really what I'm saying want to reach for myself is just to be great in everything I do. Like that word is not just for basketball. Like that's for life. That's for the man I want to be. That's for school. That's just for me as a human being. So that's something I want to achieve is greatness.
That kind of leads me into one of my last, I was like wrapping up with, and that's discussing your legacy. I know all guys do want to remember for something by the time they're done playing. So when that day does come and you step away from this game someday, what do you want to be remembered for what you achieve both on and off the court?
Yeah, on the court, I want to be like not only is a guy that's what I'm saying a good scorer, all that, a winner, things like that. That's good, but I want to be remembered as someone that's like every time Daivien stepped on the court, he played hard. You know what I'm saying? He played. He gave his all every game. That's what I want to be remembered as. Not just someone who, yeah, man, Daivien can really score the ball. Like I would want to be remembered as like every time Daivien stepped on the court, like he played his heart out. And off the court, I just want to be remembered as someone that someone that kids could look up to. Like I wasn't like I said, I went a big time recruit. I didn't have any stars coming out of high school. Like I didn't have any high major offers. And I mean, look where I am now. Like I'm in the ACC. I mean, I had a pretty good season. Potentially got a chance to play pro next year. So I mean, it's about the destination. It's always about the destination. I believe that.
Amen, man. Well, I know you're also a believer, so kind of to discuss your faith a little bit. How has God helped get you to the point you're at today?
Yeah, I give thanks to the Lord like every night. Because I know I wouldn't be here without Him. I pray before every game. I pray after every game and give thanks, win, lose, or draw. Because I know it's a blessing just to be in this opportunity.
Mhm.
So it's deeper than basketball. Like I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't have the chance to even play the game without my Lord and Savior. So I mean that's always important to me. Faith is forever. Basketball isn't.
When would you say you got that relationship with God? I know obviously a lot of people always get at different points in their life. Some people are growing up with it, but like when would you say you kind of branched off and formed that own personal bond with God?
I would say me personally, it started at a younger age with me. I had like one thing I had was I had like growing up in elementary school, I had a lot of prayer journals. Like I just like have regular notebooks and I would just write down like all my prayers and all my requests to the Lord, whether it be like, what I'm saying, just for strength to get through the day. I pray for my family, things like that. And I would just write all those down when I was younger. I still do it today, not as much though, but when I was young, I used to do it like all the time. Like, I have plenty of journals just filled with like all my prayers.
And a lot of people, if you go through your story, like there's been a lot of points where people might say, well, how would you say God's still behind you? Like you said, you didn't get a lot of offers, maybe the biggest offers you probably could have wanted coming out of high school. You weren't a heavily ranked player. You didn't get all the attention you necessarily wanted. But as you mentioned, like God's got the destination point for you to where you are at the position you're at now. So how have you like seen God work throughout your life? And like what's your advice to the people, like people that might doubt God at different times when they're at their lows? Like how does God help get you through those points?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I said one thing I stated was that what's meant for you is gonna happen. Like God's plan in your life, no matter what it may look like now. At the end of the day, like His plan is gonna always come through and it's gonna come to pass. So I believe that wholeheartedly, and that's what I just tell myself all the time. Like when I wasn't getting those big time offers, and when I wasn't like heavily recruited as much as I thought I should have been at the time, I knew like God's plan for my life is gonna come to pass, and it did. Because I mean, like I stated before, like now I'm playing in the ACC like I wanted to. So His plan is always gonna come to pass, and I always believe that, and I just hope that everyone does as well, no matter what the situation may look like now.
Amen, man. Well, my final thing for you, give Wake Forest fans the three biggest goals you have set for this upcoming season.
Okay, for one, we're gonna get to the tournament. We're gonna win some games. That win column is gonna be a lot more than that lose column. And this year, this team is gonna like. There's not really a numerical number on this goal, but this team is gonna play hard every game. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And that's what I truly believe about this team. And I just want Wake fans to know that like they should be very excited about this season.
Absolutely, man. Well, I'm definitely excited to see what God got next for you, man. I appreciate you taking time to come on today. Of
Oh yeah, I appreciate you for having me.
course, man. You're always welcome on, man. God bless.
Oh yeah, thank you.